What's up, guys? It's Raymond. I want to talk about the importance of failure in terms of success. So, why is failure so important for success? I was speaking to my dad earlier today, and a lot of people in history have talked about the importance of failure when it comes to success. Warren Buffett says failure is important for success. In fact, you can't succeed without failing, but then again, you don't have to learn from your own failures, you can learn from other people's failures. So, I want to talk about the importance of failure. Um, I don't think there's a human being on the planet that can say they've never failed. I mean, what do I mean by failure? You have a certain goal, you want to reach a certain amount of money per year, and you didn't do it on time. You wanted to wash the dishes, and you didn't have enough energy to do it when you came home. You wanted to buy your friend a gift, and you didn't have enough money to buy it. You wanted to buy a pair of shoes at a certain date, and you didn't have enough money to buy it. You wanted to make your way. You wanted to make it to work on time, and something happened, and you couldn't make it. There's so many different examples of missing the line in terms of which causes failure. But what I want to talk about is the importance of failure and the importance of getting up from failure and learning from failure in order to succeed. So it might take a few failures, it might take one failure, it might take no failures to be able to reach a certain goal. But the definition of failure is to fail to meet a goal. So I've talked in my previous videos about the importance of having personal goals and allowing using personal goals to achieve success. So you wanna define yourself some goals in life, and that those goals are going to motivate you to live every day and to wake up every day and to perform a certain action to reach those goals. But you shouldn't be discouraged by failure. I know this advice is pretty insensitive because you inevitably will feel discouraged when you fail, when everything around you is telling you that you should give up. But an example of a failure that I've experienced is reaching a certain body mass up until this time. When I was younger, I had a dream to be a certain size and a certain definition of my body, a certain percentage of body fat. I'm 22 years old now and I haven't reached that goal. Or maybe I have reached the goal, but every time I reach that goal in terms of body size, I feel that when I look in the mirror, I feel that I'm too small. Every time I go to the gym, I see people that are bigger than me and better aesthetically when it comes to their body than me, and I feel discouraged. So I don't feel this is a negative emotion. I feel people might classify this type of envy or jealousy as a negative expression or a negative way of looking at yourself, but I don't feel it is. For me personally, it's healthy. For some people, it might not be healthy. Everyone has a different mind. The way I process it is that I allow these emotions to take over me, to motivate me to go to the gym every day to get bigger. And it is a very slow process. So don't be discouraged by how long the process takes, and don't be discouraged by failure. One of the things I'm gonna say to as an advice or as a tip that might work better than just telling you to not be discouraged is you want to learn as much as you can from a particular failure. Say, for example, you had the goal of getting home on time to, or performing a certain task, or you had the goal of writing 10 pages for a book that you're trying to write, and you only had the energy to write 5 pages. You shouldn't be discouraged by failure because um, physiologically you don't have the energy you don't have the energy at that particular time to be able to fulfill that. But what you want to do is you want to motivate yourself with this failure to say to yourself that what is it in my daily routine or my diet or whatever's causing me to be tired, can I remove to allow me to provide not 10 but more than 10 pages per day. You want to increase the amount of output. In fact, you want to maximize the output that you have as a human being, and that's another topic, maximizing output as a human being. I feel that there's a scale in terms of how there's a scale in terms of or a spectrum that in terms of how rational people could be when it comes to performing particular tasks and getting what needs to be done. So what you want to do is you want to detach yourself from your emotions to a certain extent to allow you to see the goal in an objective manner and allow you to perform the particular tasks that allow you to reach that goal. But back to failure. So failure, you shouldn't necessarily be discouraged unless you're repeatedly failing in the same way and the same manner due to laziness or whatever the dysfunction may be. If you're suffering from laziness, there's another remedy for that. But what you want to do is, if you want to determine whether failure is the main problem or if it's something underlying which is causing you to fail that you can treat. So, for example, you have the tendency to be very lazy and you don't have the tendency to be very motivated. That might be an issue in and of itself, whether it be a chemical imbalance in your brain, potential signs of depression, or whatever it may be. So you want to deal with that first before you deal with the technical aspects of your daily routine or actions that could be leading to failure. So you want to see the whole spectrum, and that's why it's important to gather knowledge and to study to study yourself and be self-aware to an extent as to who you are as a person, what actions you perform, what motivates you, which traits stand out the most to you, and etc. But anyway, I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you for watching. This is my explanation as to why failure is important for success, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.